back, everybody. Mitt Romney, another win closer to the GOP nomination, but our next guest says if he does indeed win, he needs to thank her.
All right, let's get to the bottom of that. Author and columnist Ann Coulter joins us to explain. Ann, all right, explain this. So if Mitt Romney wins, does he need to call you, unlike Newt Gingrich, for a concession speech and say, Ann, thank you?
Yeah, I've given up my hopes for ambassadorship to the moon. That's not coming through now. Oh, you know, I was having a private little conversation with Sean Hannity on his radio show with 20 million listeners, and I told him I had gone to a fundraiser a couple of weeks ago for Mitt Romney. And we were about to leave, and I said, you know, I just want to go up and say one thing to him. So his advisors took me around back, and I just said, you owe me, and you better be as right-wing a president as I'm telling everyone you're going to be. And then I had some advice on vice presidents. Can you guess who?
Who's Christie?
Yes!
Well, and so the reason he owes you is because you have been talking him up and saying that he is the only person who can beat President Obama in your mind.
Yes, and not
some
only
people say
that.
He's not conservative enough.
Right, and I'm at least the first, I think they'll come around to my perspective, but I am by far the first March Hare right-winger who was solidly in his camp.
And you were the one doing the research. In fact, he cited and quoted some of your research that you wrote in a column during one of the debate performances, did he not?
I go the extra mile in my anti-Newt research, and that mention of Reagan was just driving me crazy, and I have a million of Reagan's books. So first I looked at Reagan's autobiography. Newt is not mentioned at all. I mean, I knew it couldn't be true. Newt's not mentioned at all. Jack Kemp is mentioned a million times. And then I went to the even longer Reagan diary. He kept a daily, you know, page by page. He'd write just a few words or a few sentences. And he's mentioned, Newt Gingrich is mentioned one time. And clearly, Reagan had no idea who he was, comes to the White House, a congressman named Newt Gingrich. And then, in the two sentences, Reagan rejects his idea.
Said that Ronnie passed the torch to Newt. I think pushed back on a lot of that. But let me ask you,
I don't think so.
a lot of
A,
folks,
she retracted that.
Okay.
And B, I mean, these
I
are
want to
nice
pass the
things
baton to
you
another
say
question,
to politicians.
You somehow do support the Romney Care, which is a surprise to a lot of people.
How about that column?
Well, look, I mean, it's a surprise to a lot of people. Said Newt Gingrich on Twitter last night there wouldn't be Obamacare if there weren't Romney Care.
No, to the contrary.
How do you support it?
It's exactly the opposite. If more states had done what Romney Care did, there would be no Obamacare. The main points of the column, and I highly recommend it, it's just this week on AnnCoulter.com and a million other websites, though I guess I'm supposed to be promoting mine. And the basic point is healthcare was wrecked by Congress. It's wrecked from the federal government. By the time Romney came along and all these governors, in 2007 when Romney Care passed, almost 50% of all healthcare expenditures in the country are already paid for by the federal government.
Yes, but you like an individual mandate. You like by dint of being born, somebody must pay, must take out insurance coverage or get a fine.
Well, I'm more in the Ron Paul camp. I'd let them die on the streets. But the point is, and I quote this libertarian in Reason magazine back in 2004 saying this is the libertarian solution. It's the free market solution. The least of Obamacare's problems are the individual mandate. The reason we're all talking about it is that's the constitutional hook, because it's unconstitutional for the federal government to do that. It's not unconstitutional for a state to do that.
Will he be able to answer that question? That seems to be the biggest Achilles heel thing going forward, right? He's up on a debate stage against President Obama. He looks to him and he says, out of Romney Care was born Obamacare. How does he answer that?
It's really completely false. I mean, the problem with Obamacare, the endless federal bureaucracies, the fact that it's going to cost $1 trillion and we'll have nameless bureaucrats and no-show jobs running our entire... That's the problem. That's why our founders, I think, wrote a constitution that allows the Congress to do very little and allows the states to do whatever they want. The individual mandate is the least of the problems, and everything that was wrecked by Romney Care would have been wrecked by the Democrats anyway, with or without Romney Care. It was basically welfare, because that's what Democrats do.
And we buried the lead. There is something you don't have an opinion about, and that is today's Super Bowl.
Doesn't care.
Although she does mind having Eli Manning's left leg nearly sitting on her during
There you go. Hello, Eli.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, have a good Super Bowl. Great to see you this morning. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and thanks for coming in this morning. We appreciate it.